Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Sailing Vessel MIG. Thank you so much for coming. This week I'm going to show you the boat a little bit and take you on a little tour. And I'm also going to talk about the few things that I have left. And I'm also going to tell you at the end when our splash day is and invite you all, anybody who wants to come and see it. I don't expect very many of you. I know a couple of you are actually coming, but anybody who'd like to can come. We're not having a great big party like Acorn to Arabella or anything. I'm not that pretentious. Not that they're pretentious. They earned that, man. They built that boat from scratch. But as you'll see in this episode, I did a serious refit on Little Mig. And I'm very proud of what I've done. I didn't expect that I could do this. And I guess if there's one little thing that I would like any of you to take from this, it's that you can follow your dreams and you can do things that you might not even think you can, and that other people tell you you can't do that. What are you, crazy? A little disclaimer. MIG is not worth, money-wise, the amount of money that I have poured into her and the amount of time that I've poured into her. If you took my hours and you added them up and paid me for those hours, there is no way that I would ever get a tiny little portion out of it if I was to sell her. And I could sell her now for much more than probably a normal North Sea 27 might even be worth, maybe. But that isn't the point. The point is, this is a mechanism to get around the world and to fulfill a dream. And that is why I did all of this. And that's why my family came together behind me and helped me with it. And that's why people who are my dear friends have sacrificed themselves to help me, and people I hardly even knew have helped me in this and have volunteered their time and their effort to come on this boat and help me out. But I want to thank you all. I also want to thank all of you who watch these videos every week and who have subscribed to my channel. It's not, the things that people say about, oh, YouTubers, they're just trying to get money from everybody. That's not what this is about for me at all. But I'll tell you something. I never expected this YouTube thing to become a community, to meet people like Norman, for instance, who now is going to sail with me on Little Mig around the world. And I'll tell you what, I appreciate every one of you that watches the videos. I appreciate the encouraging comments that you make. I appreciate your support in other ways other than becoming a Patreon or money-wise. I appreciate your support emotionally and your encouragement to press on. And I'll tell you what, when Norman and I are out there in the big blue and the water's crashing over the bow, you'll be there. You'll all be there. I'm gonna keep filming. And now I've got that Starlink all hooked up, and you guys will see the videos. So without any further blubbering, come along, check out MIG. I'm going to give you a little tour, and I'm going to do more jabbering while I show it to you. Hi everybody, and welcome to the tour of MIG. She's almost ready to go. I only have a few little things left to do. Basically, I have the mast ready, but I need to run the rigging on it, and I need to wire up the nav lights on the mast, and then it'll be ready to go. And that's pretty much all that's left. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you the lists that I have gone through in the last 2 years doing this refit. There she is. Man, she is beautiful. So that bowsprit I rebuilt completely. There you can see the little Starlink flat mount that I had in the video last week, and that's working like a charm. It really is great. I redid all the chain plates from scratch. I used bronze bar stock, and I shaped them myself and drilled all the holes and mounted new bronze chain plates, except for the head stay. That chain plate is still stainless steel, but it's a brand new one as well. I'm going to chat with you a little bit about everything here. The hull itself, I stripped back the under the water, sanded her down. She looked really good, no blisters. And I added new bottom paint. When I get to Mexico, I'm going to add the same kind of paint, but with tin in it. Used Island 44 by Seahawk for my bottom paint, and the stuff you can get in the US doesn't have tin in it. It's still good bottom paint, but the Island 44 Plus will last me for, well, I know for certain, about 5 years without messing with it. So the cockpit, I've redone all of the canvas. I did not create it myself, but I've restitched it all. All the stitching was coming loose, and so I re-sewed it. That board you see there is my lee board that I created. It's a new idea I had to keep me in the cockpit on the high side when I'm sailing, since these little boats like to heel over so far. I also added that extra grab rail at the front of the Dodger. I still have the manual windlass. That may change in the future, depending on how much Norm likes to physically hoist up the anchor chain. He may be willing to actually donate a little bit towards electric windlass after he's done that a few times. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the solar now. The solar that you see here that is finished is just for my 12-volt battery bank, my house bank. I have two 40-watt panels on each side forward there, and two 100-watt panels. And they're 12-volt panels, and they're wired in parallel. That bar that you see right there, there will be three 24-volt panels wired together in series for the 48-volt system. Now, I am not under the illusion that that amount of solar is going to fully provide everything we need for the 48-volt battery bank for the motor, and I'm not too worried about that. I've got the little generator. If you look on the back, you can see that little generator mounted in the box on the back. That is my generator. It runs off of both the propane and off of gasoline, and if I have to charge up the motor bank and whatnot, then I can even run it with that generator on. So we know that that works. I wish I had more room for solar for the 48-volt bank, and at some point I may change out those two panels on either side for 24-volt panels wired in series and added to the motor bank. We'll see. Right now I kind of like having the 12-volt bank fully operational, and it really is my biggest concern. I'm not too worried about the motor because I really don't use the motor that much. You guys are going to love that. I'm not sure Norman will when he gets to sailing with me, but we'll see. So in the aft cabin, I told Norman that I have emptied out this aft cabin for him. This is his little home back here. It's about the size of a pup tent, and those compartments that you see right there, that's his storage space for his stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take out all of the boards right now so that I can show you the rest of the boat as we do this tour. All of the boards are the original ones except for the Lexan one there. I actually got that one. It was a spare piece that I had off of Wandering Dolphin, and I cut it down because I like being able to have it enclosed but still look in the cockpit to make sure that everything's okay when I'm sailing. Because when we're sailing offshore and it gets rough, I actually do have the boards in very often. So here we go. We're going to look at the aft cabin first. I've redone all the cushions in here And my boat is a 1977 boat, so it does not have the pretty wood on either side like Ebby May did. But I recarpeted it with indoor-outdoor carpet, and that gray carpet looks pretty nice, I think. I like it. It's kind of soft to lean up against, and it's not beautiful, but it's not bad. If Norman doesn't like it, he can always redo all that with wood if he wants. And I'm joking there. Yeah, so these cabinets right there are completely empty. They are just for Norman. Everything under the seating is filled with boat stuff. If you're curious about that, you can look at my post where I share the storage for MiG. This is my engine compartment, probably where I have worked the most. I pulled out the old diesel engine and I put in this electric yacht QT10 motor and all of the charge controllers for solar. There's also a DC to DC charger there. Everything that I have is Victron. That right there is the disconnect for the solar. And as you see, the 48 volt bank is not yet wired in there. But those other two banks are for the 12 volt. That's a quick disconnect, so I can turn it off so the rest of the system beyond that doesn't get any power from the solar array. And I have one for each of the banks. That's the Victron MultiPlus 2000 Compact, and it's a great inverter and a charger. And what you see there, those two little breakers, one is for the 48 volt shore power, and one is for the 12 volt shore power. I can plug in the whole boat to the 48 volt and then turn on DC to DC, and it will charge both banks. But I kind of like having the option of doing both on their own. That's my batteries. I've got 4 on each side, and those are Battle-Born 100 amp hour 12 volt batteries, and they're wired in series to 48 volts. And there are 2 48 volt banks at 100 amp hours each, so I've got 200 amp hours of 48 volt lithium phosphate batteries. That's the little cockpit table and the cushion that goes in the center of the cockpit. And I've got a RAM mic back there, so if Norman's on watch, he can use the VHF radio from his aft cabin. Now we are looking aft into the bilge area and engine compartment from forward. Those two little charge controllers are for the 12 volt solar, and they've each, of course, got their own breaker. Everything you see there is for the 48 volt bank wired in. And then the bilge is right between the batteries right there. What I'm pulling up right here is my little box. I built this box for my house bank. And yeah, they fit in there perfectly, and that's all the rigmarole that goes with the house bank electrical. Now, my son Caleb, who has now been taking the courses, and he is now a certified marine electrician, I believe, he said I should make that look nicer. I told him he could do that if he'd like. There's my companionway. The little thing by the heater there is actually a trash can. It's pretty cool. I got that on Amazon. And the stove is all up and running. Everything works. That's the original gimbaled stove from MiG. I've got some dishes stored up in there and a little coffee maker, and those 3 drawers are full of utensils and some pens and things like that. There's my spice rack back there. It's a magnetic spice rack and a magnetic knife drawer. Now we're opening up the refrigerator. This little refrigerator is awesome. I've been running it the last few days only off of solar, and the solar has kept up no problem. I have my little pan rack down here with all the pans for the Galley, and it all fits in there really nice and snug. They don't make any noise, and they're all mounted very securely as well. Of course, there's my little wood-burning stove, a little Dickinson heater. I really like that. The nav station I completely rebuilt, and I'm pretty proud of it. My wife gave me those cool tea towels and hot pads, and a little picture from my mom. All of the things hanging on the wall are important to me. I redid all the electrical, so that switch box that you saw back there, that was rewired by me. I'm going to show you a list of all the stuff I've done on this boat here in a little bit at the end of this video. So this is where I actually do all of my editing for the videos right now. There's my iPad. That works as my chart plotter. I've got a spare iPad, and I've got 2 spare phones as well. Everything will be loaded on those. And right up there to the right, I have on that shelf there an air fryer. That's my Starlink router. And stuff hanging. Oh, there's my brother. There's my brother Caleb. He's a Viking. And I'm going to have 2 more photos done in pictures there that I'll show later on. They'll be pretty cool. You guys will like those. That is Evie Mae and Mig, Christmas sisters. My wife, the name Mig came from my wife's character on the game Black Desert, and she's a little Shay character, and so I did one of those pictures with Evie Mae and Mig. Oh, and the puppets. I got 2 puppets. I've had them for years, and the kids and my wife said I have to take them along, and so maybe at some point you'll meet Gator and the dinosaur. I redid all these cushions, and what I'm showing you right there are the fiddles that I made for my insert water closet or head. And right here is the only hanging locker on the boat, and it is full of scuba gear and snorkeling gear. I had all my scuba gear redone here locally, so it's ready to go, and I'm ready to get back in the water. Can't wait. This is the head. I have a Nature's Head composting toilet, and all of my tools are in here except for the power tools. The power tools are in the aft cabin in one of the compartments. But this is all my tools. And right there is my Watermaker. Next week I'm going to show you a video of me redoing the Watermaker completely. I took it apart, rebuilt it for I think the 4th time. And this Watermaker has a handle right there. The thing you see in front is the little handle, so it can be operated manually. And all the water from the Watermaker goes into that little 2.5 gallon jug right there, so I can make sure it never gets into the tank by itself. And the hose from it is long, so that I can actually fill up the 2 big jugs that are in the aft part of the boat. I'd bring them down there, put them in the head, and refill them so I can pour water into the tanks from the Watermaker if I want to. Look at that. That used to be a shoe holder, and eventually I'm going to have to redo it all with canvas. But right now it's working great. All the tools for the whole boat are very accessible. They're right there, handy. And I really, really like that. I should have done that on Wandering Dolphin, but honestly, I never thought of it. It really is the best. So that's the head. Not a lot of room, but since I weigh so much less than I used to, it now is no big deal. I'm showing you that all the lights on the boat go red. Not all. That one for the Watermaker does not turn red. But all the main lights in the boat, I can turn them red and use them at night without ruining night vision. So even the little light there goes red, and all of the rest do as well. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, see? So I redid all the plumbing on the boat as well, and probably the thing I'm most proud of is redoing the all the cushions and redoing the salon area. So if you look at this now, you will start to see lists. These are lists that I started 2 years ago, and you will be amazed. That's all that's left right there: solar arch and panels. And the arch is actually up. The panels aren't. But you notice all these lists and lists and lists, and they're all scratched out. This is 2 years worth of lists. If you intend to do a refit as extensively as I've done on MIG, this is what will be required of you. I also wanted to share with you guys right now, because we're getting close to the end of the video, the splash date for MIG is July 18th in Blaine at the boatyard. And I'll be keeping it in the water in Blaine after that, and Norman will be on the boat. He'll be there for the splash. Lots of other people are going to be there as well. And if you're interested in coming, it will be at 9 a.m. on the 18th of July in Blaine, Washington. Just send me a text if you'd like to, or a comment if you'd like information on how you can be there. Look at that, I'm still scratching stuff off that list. I'm so excited about splashing Mig and getting her ready to sail. It's just unbelievable. I'm still going through the same lists. These are all lists that I've done. This entire time I've been talking, I've been flipping through these lists of scratched out things that I have done on MiG. So if you have aspirations of refitting a boat pretty much from the ground up, just know that that's a lot of work right there. Thank you guys for watching this week. Thank you for watching every week. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. The analytics show that the majority of people that watch these videos, they are not subscribed. And I really would appreciate it if you would subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, I've got some really cool things gonna happen with the Patreon page. I'm going to be doing a daily blog there when I'm offshore that you'll be able to read, and it'll be a little more detailed than the videos. And you can actually, if you want to, you can contact me directly, and I can answer questions, and I can even take video ideas from you for things that you'd like to see. So consider supporting this channel through Patreon, and if you want, I would sure like it if you would come and see the boat at any time. Just let me know. Thank you so much, guys. And stay tuned next week. I'll rebuild the Watermaker for you.